When your life starts falling apart, you don't reach out for a lifeline, you don't call your best friend to vent, and you certainly don't ask for help. Instead, you quietly slip out the back door of your own life and disappear. Your texts go unanswered, your plans get canceled, and you retreat into a self-imposed quarantine until you can figure out how to fix everything on your own. People think you are ignoring them, or that you are angry, or that you simply don't care about the relationship anymore. But the truth is actually the exact opposite. If you have a habit of going ghost the moment you feel overwhelmed, you are not a bad friend. You are experiencing a complex neurological and psychological survival response. And today, we are going to look at why your brain believes that isolation is the only way to keep you safe. Let's start by looking at what is actually happening inside your nervous system when the pressure hits. Most people are familiar with the fight or flight response. When the brain perceives a threat, like losing a job, a relationship ending, or just general burnout, the amygdala sounds the alarm. Some people react by fighting. They get loud, they argue, they demand attention. But your nervous system defaults to something else, the freeze and hide response. When your stress levels hit a critical threshold, your cognitive battery completely drains. You literally do not have the energetic bandwidth to process your own chaotic emotions while simultaneously managing someone else's reaction to you. Social interaction requires a massive amount of brain power. You have to read facial expressions, maintain eye contact, modulate your tone of voice, and formulate coherent sentences. When you are deeply stressed, your brain shuts down all non-essential functions to conserve energy. To your nervous system, replying to a text message feels like trying to run a marathon with a broken leg. It isn't that you don't want to talk, it is that you psychologically cannot. But this behavior goes much deeper than just energy conservation. It is deeply rooted in your early psychological development, specifically in something called avoidant attachment. Think back to how stress and big emotions were handled when you were a child. Did you have caregivers who were easily overwhelmed by your crying? Were you sent to your room to figure it out when you were upset? Or perhaps the adults in your life were so dealing with their own chaos that you quickly realized your problems were just adding to their burden. If any of this rings true, your developing brain learned a devastatingly logical lesson. When I am in pain, other people cannot handle it. When I am stressed, I am a burden. You learned that bringing your problems to others doesn't result in comfort. It results in rejection, annoyance, or more chaos. So you became fiercely self-reliant. You built a psychological fortress. You learned how to self-soothe, how to lick your own wounds in the dark, and how to only present yourself to the world when you are fully healed and easy to digest. You isolate because you believe that your dark cloud is going to rain on everyone else's parade. And because you are likely a highly empathetic person, the thought of bringing other people down with your heavy energy feels incredibly selfish. You withdraw to protect them from you. There is a tragic irony in this coping mechanism. When you isolate yourself to deal with a crisis, you are actually locking yourself inside an echo chamber with your own worst enemy, your anxiety. When you are alone in the dark, every problem magnifies. A minor financial setback turns into a vision of total ruin. A single argument with a partner turns into the inevitable end of the relationship. Without another human being to act as a mirror, to provide perspective, or to gently tell you that you are spiraling out of control, your brain starts treating every negative thought as an absolute fact. You think you are going into the cave to slay the dragon, but you are actually just sitting in the dark, feeding it. And then comes the hardest part. The re-entry. The longer you stay isolated, the heavier the shame becomes. You look at your phone and see messages from 3 days ago. You think, it's too late to reply now. They are probably so mad at me. So you wait another day and another. The isolation feeds the shame, and the shame feeds the isolation. So how do you break this cycle? How do you stop sabotaging your relationships every time life gets hard? It starts with a concept psychologists call micro-disclosures. You do not have to suddenly become the person who calls crying at 2 in the morning. That will shock your nervous system. But you do have to stop dropping off the face of the earth without a map. You need to develop a script, a simple copy and paste message you can send when the urge to isolate hits you. Something like, hey, my mental battery is completely dead right now, and I need to go into my cave for a few days. I'm okay, I'm not mad at you, I just need some quiet to process things. I will reach out when I'm back. That single text changes everything. It removes the anxiety from your loved ones. And more importantly, it removes the heavy guilt from your own shoulders. It allows allows you to rest without the shame of ghosting. You have spent your entire life believing that you have to be perfectly put together to be worthy of connection. But real love, the kind of love that actually heals you, doesn't just want the polished version of you. It wants the messy, overwhelmed, exhausted version too. You don't have to carry it all alone. If you struggle with this need to constantly manage other people's feelings, even at the expense of your own, you are likely stuck in a trauma response known as fawning. We are going to completely unpack the psychology of the chronic people pleaser in the next video. Click right here and let's figure out why you can't say no.